All right, welcome guys to episode 3 of the Poor Man's Playbook. Super excited to be here. I'm Sam Burkholder.
I'm Tony.
Just Tony, no
I
last name. Guy's
yeah,
got one
there's
name.
you can guess my last name if you feel like it.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah, throw
probably could.
some throw some in the comments.
Yeah.
We're still working on getting our Spotify up. If anyone knows how to do that, be a huge thanks. So just like every week, we're gonna dive right into our recap of Week 7. I had a pretty decent week. I went positive. How about you, Tony? Good week.
I went positive.
I think we both had pretty decent weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna fully disclose this right here. I did take a last second bet on the South Carolina game, and I lost it. But we're not counting it. We're not counting it. It was,
I won't hold it against you.
I was not fully in the right mind when I took when I took that bet. So we're not going to count that one. So we're just going to go straight into it. We'll cover the ones that we both took first together, and then we'll go off their own. So we're going to look at Michigan State, Indiana first. I had Michigan State -3. Tony had it -4.5. Now, I bet that 4.5 was a bit of a nail biter for you.
It was since they only won by 5, but I never in doubt. I knew Michigan State was gonna come out on top. Never a doubt.
Well, that was a good game, too. They did a pretty good job kind of shutting down Kenneth Walker. It could have spoiled his Heisman hopes.
But it won't. Don't worry. He'll come
But
back
it won't.
stronger.
But it won't. We're hopeful, right? We're hopeful. But
Where
it was,
it's
a close
promising.
game. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
promising. It's promising. It was a close game though. I don't know. Candace better watch out for B. John Robinson. He's pretty good. Oklahoma's back is something
Yeah,
serious.
I see.
Um,
I thought you mean
oh,
Texas
wait,
is
Texas.
back?
My bad. My bad. um, but yeah, so it was a pretty close game. Obviously important to get the line the best line you can right there. Not that it
Yep.
mattered, but imagine if you had -5.
Exactly.
You'd be pissed off.
I
Our
would.
next game we got it was Oklahoma State at Texas. So I had Oklahoma State money line +175, and Tony had them +5.5. Both wins. I feel like that was a shoe in from the get go. I can't believe that I got that +175.
Yeah, but them being a 5.5 point underdog was very grateful. And Texas did what we said they did.
They were
They
Texas.
Texas.
They Texas,
Yep.
and they lost.
Yep. In the most Texas fashion you could.
Yeah, and that's just Texas for you. Um, Good game though. Happy about
Yep.
Oklahoma State. Honestly, I'm a big. It's the Cowboys, right? That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big
Undefeated. Well,
undefeated
they're
team.
number 8 in the
Undefeated team.
country.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. Honestly, a lot of good teams like that right now. Our next game was Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia,
Oh
our
my
dogs,
gosh.
let us down in two different ways. I had
Yeah.
-21.5, and on a last-second touchdown with 6 seconds left, they screwed me. And then the over 44.5, brutal,
Yeah, and because
brutal.
Kentucky decided instead of trying to come back, they decided to go on 11.5 minute drive to end the game, and and it screwed your spread and it screwed my over because both teams missed extra points and Kentucky missed a field goal, and
Yeah,
that
I think
screwed my over.
it was just brutal. It was just brutal. A slap in the face. Slap in the face.
Yeah, thanks
Um,
Kentucky.
yeah, right. Next game I had BYU at Baylor. BYU +6.5. It was stupid. It was stupid. I lost that. I have no words for BYU. They were a sham. That's all I gotta say. I'm fading BYU the rest of the season.
I don't blame you.
Tony's next one was Clemson at Syracuse. Syracuse +14.
The
Great,
Orange
great
came out
play.
on top.
Great play. I love
I
that.
mean, they didn't win. They almost tied it up, but +14, just easy money right there.
All day long. That was a great play. I love that. I love that for you.
Thank
Super
you.
happy. So I had Alabama at Mississippi State. Alabama -17. I talked about it. I believe in Saban. He came out and he did what he had to do. It was 49-9. I mean, damn, I could have taken -39.5 and still pushed. I mean, I was. They did a great job. I didn't get to watch the game because I was at that South Carolina game all weekend, which was probably the worst game on the slate. But big win. So we're happy about that. Next game for Tony, we had Texas A&M at Mizzou. Texas A&M -9, easy cover all day long.
Easy. Missouri's horrible.
All day. Yeah,
Atrocious.
we're locking it on these spreads this week. Next one I had was Ole Miss at Tennessee. Ole Miss -3. Thank God it hit. It was a little nerve wracking, especially in the end when they had to stop the
Gosh.
game for 20 minutes because the Volunteers decided that Neyland Stadium was a landfill. So that was super exciting. Always interesting
Well,
to watch that though.
well, no, they had to show the Ole Miss players what they looked like since they decided to fake an injury every other play in the game. So,
I think we have a little bit of bias here on the pod.
I mean, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed as a Vols fan. However, I wouldn't say the Ole Miss players and Lane Kiffin don't deserve that
No, they
kind of
do.
treatment.
It's so obvious too. I
They
mean,
do.
they
They
obviously go down on purpose.
anytime Tennessee had momentum, they all went down, and it screwed the Vols. And we all know Lane Kiffin. That's the exact kind of thing he would do. Would tell his players to make sure you go down as often as possible,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
makes you think they should change the rule about maybe if you go down injured that you shouldn't be able to come back the rest of the drive, so you don't have a incentive to fake an injury like those dirty rebels.
Oh, I mean, and honestly, sometimes it should honestly just be a replayable event when he points and they point at themselves to make sure it's them, and then they take a knee. I mean, that should be replayable.
Exactly.
They take guys out for ridiculous targeting calls all the time, but then when you're
Yep.
faking an injury so that you can ruin another team's momentum, and basically get a free timeout.
Yeah. So
That's
basically, Ole
BS.
Miss had at least like 15 timeouts that game.
Yeah,
So
so
good for them.
it is ridiculous, but hey, they
I'm
covered.
not salty. I'm not mad. I'm not.
I'm not
behind
mad.
us.
I'm not mad. I'm
It's
not mad.
it's behind us. It was a
Yeah.
good atmosphere.
Here we go. You want to hear something that's going to make you mad though? Arizona State at Utah. Arizona State -1 for Tony. Loss. Not even
Yeah.
close either. Not even
Don't
close.
talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. It was what was it? 21 to
Mm,
21,
I
and
don't
then
want
the
it.
Utes rolled up. Two more touchdowns after that. Game ended at 35 to 21, if I'm correct.
They were up by 14.
Rough night
Yeah.
for the Sun Devils.
Yep.
All right, my next one: Auburn at Arkansas. Arkansas -3.5.
Mm,
I'm off the Razorbacks bandwagon. I can tell you that.
I
Absolutely derailed.
They have fallen, and they have fallen hard.
Yeah, I mean, they did have a rough schedule here, but this was a game that was a must-win for the Razorbacks, and they just could not take care of business.
Nope.
I was surprised. I've been a big Arkansas supporter this entire season. Big fan of what they've been doing, especially after some terrible seasons they've had. But
Yeah.
I guess you
You
can't
got
grow
to
too
root for them.
fast. You got to root for them,
Yeah.
right? Cinderella kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Exactly.
Next one, we had a little money line action. Money line. Virginia Tech +175 at
Yeah.
Pittsburgh for Tony.
Yeah.
Loss. Pittsburgh's a
Mm.
legit team, though. Legit team.
Yeah.
They're
I
not
should
bad.
have I shouldn't have done that. But Pitt really came out, and 10-year starter Kenny Pickett is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I feel like he's been there uh,
No,
for ages.
Kenny Pickett got his undergraduate, he got his master's, and now he's actually receiving his doctorate from there right now.
Yeah,
So super
Doctor Pickett
interesting.
slicing
Yeah.
defenses out here.
Doctor slash professor. I'm pretty sure he's teaching a class currently to maintain eligibility. So he's been with us for a while. And then my last individual one, and we have our final individual one, obviously. I'm sure we know what that is. But I had California at Oregon. I had Oregon -13.5. What the hell, Ducks? Why'd you have to let me down like that? I mean, I watched that game on Friday night and just absolute horror the entire time. I couldn't believe that they couldn't get any separation from California, who's a bad team. A bad team in
Very bad
California.
team.
I can't believe Oregon. It really it was a slap across the face. That's all I have to say. I really don't even have any comments on it. They just played sloppy football and could not get the ball moving. And then our final game,
What we always do.
our favorite team on the poor man's playbook,
The
UCLA.
UCLA. Go
UCLA to
Bruins,
cover.
baby.
Go Bruins. UCLA at Washington. I had UCLA plus 1.5, and Tony had UCLA plus 2. It didn't matter. We both won,
Nope.
and that's how we do. Woo!
Go Bruins, baby.
Go, bro. Go Tigers!
Go to, I did say last week that if Michigan State won me this week, I'd buy a T-shirt, and I did in fact buy a Michigan State T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking Kenneth. I'm taking Kenneth Walker all the way. We're going Sparty, baby.
You know what? For this part of the podcast, for the YouTube video, I need a screenshot of the shirt you got so I can post it on there.
I got you.
We gotta prove it to the fans. We gotta show them that we don't just talk the talk. We walk the walk here.
I made a promise, and I'm holding my end of the bargain.
All the
Therefore,
way,
Michigan State has to go and beat Michigan this week. That's their end of the bargain, even though I have never had a conversation with anyone related to the Michigan State.
And they're not part of the bargain, yeah.
But they better win.
They better win. Let's take some time and talk about a couple bad beats real quick, okay? Just from the rest of it, right? From the rest of our what we had going on that weekend. So, let's see. I had a 5-team NFL parlay on Sunday. I had the boys money line. I had the Bills money line. I had the over 43 in Seahawks Steelers, and I had the Broncos and money line. And I had the Cardinals money line, and I had a parlay. Had pretty nice odds on it, and of course the Broncos missed it for me. So that's to going 4-5 on parlays. I also missed. I'm not even going to talk about my Monday night one because that was just despicable, degenerate stuff. And then last night, had to get on some NBA action. I had the Bulls money line, I had the Hornets money line, I had the Celtics money line. And you know what? The Bulls hit, the Hornets hit, and of course the Celtics in a double overtime nail-biting loss ruined it for me.
It'd be like that sometimes.
What's new? Why wouldn't it not hit? That's it for me.
I had 3 NFL parlays last weekend. So first, I said it on the pod. I had Bengals -3, Cardinals +2.5, Bucks -7, and I lost because the Eagles decided to go for a pointless 2-point conversion. And when the Bucks drove down the field and got inside the 10-yard line, the Eagles ran out of timeouts and they knelt the ball and won the game. So that's how that parlay ended. And then I had a 6-team parlay. Listen to this. The Bengals money line, they won. The Packers money line, they won. Rams money line, they won. Steelers money line, they also won. And the Cardinals money line, they won. And the sixth thing, a part of that, Texans at Colts over 44, and I lost. I lost because after going 5 of 6 in this parlay, and I will never forgive the Houston Texans for this monstrosity that they have done to me. But on a brighter note, I won my 2-team parlay because the Bengals and Rams both covered. So thank you, Cincinnati. Thank you, Los Angeles. Half of you at least. And so that how my 3 parlays went. And lastly, last night I tweeted out on our Twitter. You can go follow us at Poor Man Playbook. It did not have enough letters to put Poor Man's.
Yeah,
so
again,
Poor Man Playbook.
Poor Man, not Poor Man's. We know it's confusing, but we have the logo and everything.
So you can find us on Twitter. And last night I tweeted that I took Coastal Carolina not only to cover, but also in the 12-team parlay I have coming up this weekend that I also tweeted out. And it lost. Thank you, Coastal Carolina. I will no longer say they're the best football team in South Carolina. Chanticleers, you have ruined all hope for me.
The Chants really crapped a bed there. Also, I just want everyone to know, all of our listeners who follow our Twitter or look at our page, you can really tell the difference between Tony's parlays and my parlays.
Yeah, I
Yours are
decide
always
the
a 12 team, cooked it up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
see when I make my parlays at noon, right before NFL Sunday or right after I get off of work, they're pretty good parlays. But then when I'm angry because I just lost and it's 1 in the morning and I got to be up in 5 hours, they're not the best. So I'm just gonna hope one of these hit, and then I will never hit a 12-team parlay ever again,
We can
even
always
if
hope.
it's just a quarter.
The real question is, can you bet $1 on 12 team parlays enough times to the point where you actually get the payout before that you've already paid enough money where you're not making any money on it?
Well, if by the rare chance the 17 parlay hits with an Illinois upset, this $1 will cover the rest of my $1 parlays till the end of time, or until August at least.
Yeah, right. Till the end of time, more like till December. I have one more bad beat. It just came in. I had Hawks money line, Clippers +4, and Bucks money line. I didn't even get to see the Clippers because it didn't matter because the Bucks lost. So if I had to make any assumptions for tonight on that Clippers game, I would live bet Clippers spread because if the trend shows anything, I go 2 for 3 every time. So that's just some advice. All right, I think that wraps up our recap, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I didn't have any more action. All right, well then we're gonna take a quick break, and we are gonna be right back with these never frozen premium Angus beef locks. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back for your locks premium, the best. These are all 100 percenters. There's no
Hmm.
way that any of these miss.
I, okay.
No, like just a disclaimer here. We are not professionals, and this is a
These
rough
will
week.
miss.
This is a really rough week. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say that I feel confident about pretty much anything that I placed this week.
I'm
Last week I felt
confident.
good.
I'm confident in one of these picks.
The only thing I'm confident in is that I'm 100% going negative this week. That's what I'm confident in. So we're gonna dive into it. Let's kick it off. Tony, give it to us. I want to hear number one.
Okay. My hardest lock of the week is not. It's not going to draw your attention on Saturday, really. It's University of Texas San Antonio -6.5 at Louisiana Tech. This is my strongest lock of the week. I just UTSA, they're finally in the top 25, but Louisiana Tech, they're not a bad team. They had close games against some teams like NC State and SMU. However, they also had close games against teams like North Texas and Southeast Louisiana. I just San Antonio, they have not been held to less than 24 points this year, while Louisiana Tech is averaging allowing 31 points per game against them, which is 99th in FBS. I think this offense is going to tear Louisiana Tech's defense apart between their quarterback Frank Harris and their running back Sincere McCormick. I love that name, by the way. And he's eighth. You know, I love my running backs.
I know you do. I know you. Big
He's
Mac guy.
Yep. Sincere McCormick, eighth in FBS in rushing yards with 778 yards. This duo is just going to shred this Louisiana Tech team alive, and they're going to win by at least a touchdown. I'm pretty confident in the 6.5 cover.
I like that. I like that. And hey, they're not. They're ranked. They're 24th.
Yep, 24th, just cracked
Nothing
it.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
7-0, undefeated.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. I really don't have anything to add. I have not
I
watched a
I
single one of those two games.
I
You knew I wouldn't
didn't
have anything
I
to add.
didn't expect you did too. So feel free to go into your number one lock.
All right. The first one I place, I'm just gonna go in order of when I placed it because I would say that probably justifies confidence, right? And
Agreed.
since this is just a crappy week of picks, crappy games, not one top 25 matchup. Can we? I
Nope.
mean, can we get up? Can we believe that? I am just shocked. How is the scheduling coming out like that? And there wasn't even an attempt to make a top 25. I mean, I was looking at these games, it's like, which teams would have been a top 25 matchup?
That's what I've been thinking all week too.
My first one I felt most confident about, and I gotta say, everyone, I hated doing this. It really took every bit of me to do this, right? This tore me to shreds. But I
I
took
know where you're
Clemson plus
going.
3.5. It was a juice line. They're at Pittsburgh, but you know what? Pittsburgh's been hot.
Ooh.
Pittsburgh's been hot. I'm not gonna lie. There's no disputing that Pittsburgh's been a good team. But if I've watched Clemson this season because I hate them. And I've watched their games very closely. I know that Clemson plays close in games. What's getting me about this game was that they're underdogs. It's like, they're usually favorites, so it makes me like this line because they're an underdog. I also they play these close games. I know that DJ's not that guy. It's pretty obvious he's not that. I mean, we're through 7 weeks now. We can be honest about DJ. He's no Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's no Taj Boyd. I mean,
Yeah,
he's just DJ.
that's an understatement.
Exactly. He's whoever the no-name quarterback was before Taj Boyd that no one remembers. So he's a nobody, but I have a good feeling about this right now. I don't know. I feel like Clemson still got that defense. They played close games. I mean, if you look at their losses right now, I mean, they edged out Syracuse, which is, I mean, not impressive, right? I mean, no offense
Nope.
to the Orange, no
None
offense to the
taken.
Orange, but I mean, obviously they lost the NC State team, but a good NC State team, number 18. I mean, that's not a bad team. They've had some nice wins. This Clemson team still held Georgia to 10 points, which is the least amount of points Georgia scored the entire season. Obviously, that was a first game, so it can be kind of a fluke just because both teams are feeling it out. But Clemson clearly has that potential to hang. If Georgia's too good of a team, even in a first game, just feeling out another team, Georgia's too good of a team to just roll over and die and not be able to put up more points. I mean, we've watched them put up a ton of points. Everyone, their second lowest scoring game, I'm pretty sure was this Kentucky game at 31 points, right?
Think so.
I'll check right now, but I'm pretty sure that was the lowest scoring game. The Bulldog, yeah, 30 points to Kentucky. Yeah, that was the lowest scoring one. So I think this Clemson defense is stout. I think they're going to give Pittsburgh a lot of problems. I mean, not that Pittsburgh's been a bad team at all. They've been blown out of the water. They've been beaten up. They beat Tennessee, who's a really good team this season. Obviously beat up on UMass, Western Michigan. I mean, they haven't been playing anybody.
They lost to Western Michigan.
Oh yeah, damn, I didn't even notice that. And then, I mean, obviously they beat up New Hampshire by 70 points, which is just, I can't believe that happened. That's a lot of 10 touchdowns.
That is a lot of points. Hope someone took the over on that.
I wonder what the spread was. There's no way it was even remotely close to 70 points. This has been a good team this season. I'm not disputing that, but Clemson is not a bad team still. They all have a great amount of athletes, and they still have not rock solid, but I think they have a pretty decent defense still. I think they're going to give Pittsburgh a lot of problems. So, I don't think they're going to win, but I think they could win by 3 points or less. So, give me the Tigers. Ugh.
Before I go on, I just want to say the spread for that New Hampshire game, Pittsburgh was favored by 29 points.
Wow.
And the over-under was 53.
Wow. You know what? I got to say, if you took New Hampshire plus 29, oof. That's
you
rough.
deserve to lose.
That's
you
rough.
deserve to lose.
You deserve to lose? It's like taking UConn money line. But
exactly.
brutal. You have any play on this game? And
I do. I do.
It's a fight, isn't it?
On this.
It's a fight.
I gotta say, I do. What I like about this game, this is probably there's only one other matchup I'd say is closer to a top 25 matchup because we got the number 3 scoring offense at Pittsburgh, and they're going up against the number 2 scoring defense in Clemson. Okay, so this is going to be a battle.
Let's put an asterisk on that number 3 scoring offense, though. I mean, remember they played UMass, Tennessee, Western Michigan, New Hampshire, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, right? I mean,
okay. Virginia Tech's not bad.
I mean,
Tennessee's
good.
But they still got to put up those points somehow. Other teams are also playing UMass. So, but So I think this is going to be a good game. I'm going to be interested to see if the defense is going to come out stronger than Pittsburgh's offense. However, I took Pittsburgh -3. I think, like I said earlier, our 10-year starter, Kenny Pickett, I think he's too good. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, and one interception. And he's doing that with a 70% completion rate. I couldn't find the rankings for QBR, but ESPN does list him as having the third highest quarterback rating in FBS. So I
No,
gotta
he's.
say, I just I'm sorry. I think Pittsburgh's gonna cover. I
Hey,
think Clemson's just bad this year.
I am all good with a little old fashioned, lock fight on this guy.
We
I'm
got
okay with it.
intertwined locks on here.
Hey, it makes it more exciting when we get to head on this.
I agree.
But a little out of context here. But go Tigers!
You had to say it that way, so you're not rooting for Clemson.
Nah, because I hate Dabo Sweetie to death, and I hate Clemson so much. To anyone not knowing, I went to the South Carolina, which is honestly the saddest thing to admit this season. um, so I take that back. But all right, Tony, get your next one going.
Alrighty, so my next lock, kind of a lock, is I'm very surprised. This is the matchup I thought would be closest to a top 25 matchup at this point in the season, and I'm very surprised by the spread. But I'm taking Oklahoma State, and I got them at +7 at Iowa State. I think this is a really even game. I know Iowa State's 4-2 and Oklahoma State's undefeated. They're number 8 in the country. But I mean, statistically, Iowa State's better than Oklahoma State in every like major category, like yards, points allowed,
Yep.
points scored, off total offense, total defense. And both quarterbacks, Spencer Sanders and Brock Purdy, have very similar QBRs, and both running backs, Jalen Warren and Brees Hall, have rushed for about the same amount of yards, 705, 748. And
Yep.
they both had a very close, like similar result to Kansas State. And then the other game, mutual opponent, was Oklahoma State beat Baylor, and Baylor beat Iowa State. I don't think we talked about them a little bit earlier. I like Oklahoma State. I don't think they're as good as they were last year when they had Chuba Hubbard. I like
Chuba
them.
Hubbard.
I don't think they're the number 8 team in the country, but I don't think they're a bad team. I would probably see them more ranked in the teens, but given their record and conference, I don't blame the AP for putting them that high. I don't think they're as good as they're ranked. However, I don't think they're a 7-point underdog to this Iowa State team, even though it's at Iowa State. So even if Iowa State wins, I don't think they win by more than 7. So I'd be happy if this pushed. I could see this being like a 3 or 4 point win for Iowa State, but I do think Oklahoma State will win. Do you have
Now,
any take on that game?
I literally have. We have complete unity on that. I have
Okay.
the exact same line. I have everything. I'm rolling with Oklahoma State this season. I've been a big supporter. They're undefeated. I mean, come on. They're playing a good conference. Like, I mean, they're playing opponents. They're doing their job. You know what? After they beat up on the Longhorns, I like Oklahoma State.
Did you look at their early schedule though,
It wasn't great. It's not great.
with close wins against Tulsa and Missouri State and an average Boise State
Hey,
team?
don't you talk bad about Tulsa. All right. Another
Oh,
Oklahoma school they compete
the
with.
the best school in Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. They're like the Coastal Carolina of Oklahoma, I've heard. Through the grapevine. No, I
No
like that.
disrespect,
I mean,
Tulsa.
I took the exact thing. I really don't have anything to add to it. I took the same thing, and I don't think they're gonna win. I mean, I kind of have. Actually, you know what? I do think they're gonna win. I didn't take their money line. I wanted to. It was super juicy. Um, but I didn't want to put my hands on that. Vegas knows, and plus 215 is super risky. So, um, I like plus 7. I don't. They're probably gonna
Me
lose, right?
too.
They're at Iowa State, which is tough. But
And Brees Hall's a really good running back.
exactly. But you know what? They can keep it within a touchdown. I mean,
Mhm.
no, I like that too. I have complete unity on that.
Okay.
Um,
What's your next pick?
I got NC State at Miami. NC State -3. I like this. NC State's been rolling this season. Um, Miami's had some quarterback issues here. I mean, if you just look at their stats right now, like, I don't know, is Derek King even still playing, or Tyler Van
I'm
Dyke?
pretty sure King is injured for the rest of the
One
year.
of them's injured. I know that because they both have 700 yards, which doesn't seem right. Um, Devin Leary's not been bad. I think he's throwing good passes. 1,500 yards on this season. They got a decent enough run game. Nothing great, but Zonovan Knight's averaging 6.1 yards, which is no slouch. He's got a 46-yard long. I mean, I like that. He's kind of lacking on the TDs, but if you really dive down into it, I don't think he's their big back. They got other guys coming in down there in the small set. So, I think their run game's going to pound them. Miami's not been a great team this season. They're 2-4 in the ACC. 6 in the Coastal. It's been rough ever since Bama really blew their lights off at the beginning of the season. They were overranked for that, and then it's just really been downhill for them. Um, I think this is going to be a pretty easy walk in the park win for NC State. I think NC State's a good team. After that Clemson one, I think this Wolfpack's got a little fire behind them. I think they want to be in front of Wake Forest. I think that's probably the main goal right here. So give me NC State -3 all day. I think that's easy. I would take this at -7.
I do not have any play on that game, but I agree. I took them in one of my many parlays this week that we will not go into. But I got nothing to say. I think I don't think Miami's good. I do got to give some respect to NC State. So I think -3 is awfully generous to Miami. So I like that pick.
Yeah. I just think that there's a better team all around.
Agreed.
They know how to put points on the board, and they have a pretty decent defense. We saw what they did against Clemson. Stopped it in
Hmm.
overtime. That was a huge upset. At that point in the season, that was a huge momentum-changing upset right there. Um, that was basically the catalyst to knock Clemson right out of the top 25. They were 25 after that game,
Hmm.
and that was the downhill right there. Um, if they didn't win that game, I think that college football Clemson would be completely different right now. I think they would be a top 15 team still because they've won their games. But yeah, so I like that NC State play all day long. What's your next one?
This one is actually I did it last week. I bet on one of my teams, and it's kind of a similar standpoint. I did it again this week. I got a really bad pick from how it started off in the week, but I got Tennessee plus 24.5 at Alabama. I could have gotten it at 27.5. It's at plus 25 right now, but I'm sticking with plus 24.5 because I still like it. I think after their loss to Florida, Tennessee is changed because they finally, if Hendon Hooker can come back healthy after leaving on the last drive injured, because they finally declared him the starter and they took off. They did great against Mizzou. They did great against South Carolina, and that was a really good game last week against Ole Miss. So I think they looked like a good team against a good Ole Miss team. So I do think Alabama is going to win pretty easily, but I don't think they're going to lose by more than 21 points because I think they've kind of found a groove together. And even if they lose by 14 points to this Alabama team, they're going to have that feeling of, hey, we're heading in the right direction. Let's keep it going. So I like 24.5 underdog Tennessee on this one.
I actually have I have the same play. Except I
Okay,
got it at -25.
nice.
Gotta love it, right? It really
Yeah,
makes absolutely no difference whatsoever.
no.
No, I like this a lot. I actually dove into the stats for this one. I know I haven't been much of a statistics guy for this podcast. It's been a busy week. But I always have time to dive into some Alabama against the spread statistics. The stats are pointing that we shouldn't take this. Alabama has historically beat the crap out of Tennessee. But when Tennessee had some good seasons in 14 and 15, they wouldn't have covered a 25-point spread. I'm saying they, as in Alabama, would not have covered this 25-point spread. So, where I'm going with this is I think that Tennessee is one of those teams right now. I think they're that 7-5, 8-4 kind of team this season. They're probably not going to have that on their record because they have a pretty tough schedule coming up. But I like them. I like the Vols right here. I thought they played a super competitive game against an Ole Miss team that I think can put up a lot of points on anybody. So them being able to hold Ole Miss to a game that was actually, they, potentially could have won that game, if a few other plays had gone their way. I like this. I like this a lot. I think that Alabama's obviously going to thrash them, but I feel like this is a game where like Alabama gets up 28 points in the first half, and they kind of put the brakes on. They score maybe two more touchdowns in the second half. Tennessee scores 2, 3 touchdowns, right? And they cover the spread. That's why I'm feeling about this. They're not going to win this game. I think they're going to win it. I also, how do you pronounce the name? Is it Josh Heupel? I think
Yeah,
it is Heupel, right? Apparently, from what I've heard, Josh Heupel says that was the most competitive game that he has ever coached in that Ole Miss game. I think he's got a hungry team with him. I think these guys want to be ranked. I think they want to be deserving. I think these guys are fighting, so I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go into Tuscaloosa and they're gonna try to put up a fight. So I like Tennessee +25. I don't really have anything else to put on that. I mean, they're not gonna win this game, but
no.
and they better not win this game because I have Bama for the Natty. But I'm obviously still gonna be a big Tide fan, but I think that they're gonna cover. So I like it. I'm glad
Me
we
too.
locked up on two of them already.
Yes,
This is already feeling good. I like when we're together instead of divided. So we're
yes.
locked up on two and we have one rivalry. Wow, we got 3 games together already.
I know. I
I'm
like
liking
it.
it. Da 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 da. I'm
So
loving
what what is your
it.
what is your next pick?
Y'all gonna hate me.
Don't do it.
This goes against everything.
No.
It goes
I know
against
what you're
everything
I know what you're gonna say.
that our friends out in Los Angeles have put together for us.
You're
But this
breaking
was
my
just
heart.
too juicy. Too juicy to pass up on. Oregon. Number 10, Oregon. Dogs. 2.5-point dogs at UCLA. I had to snatch it up. I don't even understand it. It doesn't make sense to me, is what I'm saying. I don't get why or how they are underdogs in this game. We've watched a good amount of UCLA football. I know you've watched UCLA football.
Yes.
What's your play on this? Did you take UCLA? I'm assuming you did.
I got an absolutely horrible take compared to what it is now. But I went with it. I couldn't help myself. I took UCLA -2.5. I'm sorry, man. I think Vegas knows more than the AP does. If Vegas is telling me that UCLA is favored, I gotta go with them.
But you know what Vegas is telling you now? Vegas shifted the line down to +1 for Oregon. So they're saying it's basically an even game.
Essentially,
Essentially.
I've been watching UCLA, and I've convinced myself that this 5-2 Bruins team is going to come in here. It's at home, and they're going to show these Oregon Ducks that they're not deserving of this Pac-12 championship. Oregon has not looked that great recently. I mean, they beat Ohio State, but then they lost to Stanford, and they barely beat a bad Cal team. I mean, UCLA is also inconsistent. They beat
Yeah, let's
LSU.
talk about that. Let's talk
Well,
about
I'm gonna counter UCLA. They did beat LSU convincingly, and they beat Stanford, who beat Oregon. But then they lost to Fresno State and kind of got wiped by Arizona State. I just both I my running backs, both running backs are averaging about the same 6.4 from UCLA and 6.7 from Oregon.
Yep.
But the big difference maker that got me to go with UCLA is quarterback. I think I think Dorian Thompson Robinson, the good
You just
old
read this guy's name.
no, no, I read this guy's name when I've been watching him light up these teams. I think he's got the edge, man. He so look if you look at the quarterback comparison,
No, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. He's got a better pass rate. He's got more yards. He's got a better completion percentage. He's got a better average. He's got a better long.
exactly.
He's got
And
more
I think
touchdowns.
and
But he
I really
does have more interceptions.
but
And
one more interception just so
hey,
our
hey, hey,
listeners are
hey.
clear.
Okay,
Two interceptions compared to
100% more interceptions. Just so our listeners are clear.
but I also like this running back battle. They got Dye and I don't want to mispronounce his name.
I was
Charbonnet.
gonna say Charbonnet as well.
I was gonna say Charbonnet. I don't care. He's besides Kenneth Walker. He's one of my favorite backs. I enjoy watching him play when I put on our Bruins. So
Also, Dorian Thompson Robinson has been having a pretty decent rushing season. Well, I mean, averaging 4 per carry, 329 yards. Not bad for a quarterback. And he has a long of 35 yards, which you got to respect that. Anthony Brown's not had a
exactly.
terrible season, but nothing like UCLA Dorian Thompson Robinson. So I
So I'm
understand it. I understand. To me, when you look at this, I just feel like this Oregon team is a better team. I mean, they're both averaging pretty much the exact same points per game. Um, but pretty much the same in a lot of stats. Like I mean, if you're looking at like total first
total
downs,
yards.
rush yards, um, I don't know. I'm just liking this Oregon team more. I feel like the defense may be a difference maker. I don't know. I mean, it's not
I don't
going to be
blame you
great.
for your pick.
I mean, I
I
think like.
just
Well, go ahead.
I don't blame you for the pick because I also considered it. I just like the Bruins on this one. I feel the ups, even though it's technically not an upset, but according to the AP, I'm taking this upset.
Yeah, no, I mean I like it. I mean, and if you statistically look at this, if you look through all these team stats, a lot of it's just the same. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, even if you look at their average penalty yard, 79 for Oregon and 70 for UCLA. I mean, it's honestly astounding how close this game looks, and that's why Vegas' line's right there. But I just I like Oregon in this. I hate going against our team, who I mean has only helped us out twice, but
Two for
I'm.
three.
You're right, 2 for 3, 66% of the time. But I'm liking Oregon this one. Also, I feel like Oregon has a little more to fight for than UCLA does. If that has anything to do for it, just the pure eye test and like the morale of players. I think that Oregon wants to come and win this game. They have the Pac-12 on the line right here. If they lose this game, it's kind of up for grabs. So I think they need it more. I think they want it more. That's why I'm taking Oregon. But I totally understand the UCLA +2. What'd you get at?
Minus 2.5.
-2.5. Okay, yeah, so we basically have the exact same thing. Yeah, just opposites. So, kind of how I'm feeling about it. So, all right. That's what I got. I have one more spread left, and I have one more money line left.
So do I.
Okay, let's hear your spread, and then we'll hit our Moneyline sprinkles.
Actually, I didn't really do much research on this one. I just I saw it and it was just really juicy. I immediately took it. I got Hawaii, a midnight game. Hawaii minus 18 against New Mexico State. And the reason I saw it and I'm like, that's real. I really liked it. And then I was like, let me look at their schedules real quick. They've actually played each other already. Like
Yeah, they have. They have,
only
yeah.
not even a full month ago. And Hawaii went to New Mexico and they beat them 41-21. So the line being at 18 and that's a 20-point game in New Mexico, I now this one's in Hawaii, I really don't see why I shouldn't take Hawaii minus 18. So and New Mexico State is 1-6. So eh, I'm not too impressed by their one win over South Carolina State. So, and Hawaii 3-4, not great. Beat Fresno State while they were ranked. So I gotta say I'm liking the Rainbow Warriors on this one. I'm
I'm
sure you
liking them
don't
as
have
well.
any. I'm sure you don't have a take on this.
I've been looking at it just because I wanted something to do in the middle of the night. And maybe if Saturday goes really well, maybe I'll get on some action on it. Um, but no, I have literally no opinion on this whatsoever. If I was going to take anything on this, I'd probably take the over because I think this could be a sloppy game on defense. Actually, you know what? At 62 points, I would have taken under because I feel like there's going to be a lot of dropped passes. I feel like that's going to sum up this game.
You're
Um,
probably right.
that's just how I'm feeling. I mean, I don't know. It's the middle of the night in Hawaii. Who knows? I mean, I have no play whatsoever on it. I honestly can't believe there's 127 different bets you can take on this
And I
game.
don't understand
Like,
that.
I mean, I feel so bad for the guy who has to sit here and actually statistically analyze New Mexico State Hawaii. I mean, this is an atrocious game to have to watch.
I
But hey,
mean, you can take. Will there
better
be an
luck to you, my
overtime
friend.
for plus 1,000?
Better luck. Yeah. No. I don't think so. All right, cool. I like it. I don't know if you're gonna have this one or not. It's kind of an interesting game. I kind of just impulsed it tonight. I needed a last spread. I just didn't have anything locked in.
Let's hear it.
I got Oregon State +3.
We'll
I was
see.
looking at this game. I really don't know a ton about it, but I know that Oregon State is 4-2 in the Pac-12, and I know that Utah is 4-2 in the Pac-12. They're just in different divisions. Um, and Oregon State's at home, and I like underdogs at home. I think that Beaver crowd is. I can't say it with straight face.
I like.
um,
Can you
um,
tell me where they play?
Oregon State.
Yeah, what city do they play in?
Do you know what city they play in?
Only because I'm looking at it right now.
No, I have no idea. What would you
Cool.
guess though?
I don't even know how to pronounce this
Would I have
properly.
heard of it?
Not a chance.
Tell me what it is.
Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah, no chance. No chance. Gun to my head, I'm dead. Um, Now, what I do like about it is, Oregon State. I think they're playing a pretty similar strength of schedule. I would say Oregon State edges them out on total points per game. It looks like Utah's had a little bit of quarterback not knowing who's playing. I don't know if I guess someone must have gotten hurt. Is it Charlie Brewer got hurt? I guess he's the starting quarterback. Yeah, he got hurt. So their starters out. We got a backup in. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? But it just makes me kind of lean toward Oregon State a little bit more. Also just looking at it, I think BJ Baylor's having a pretty nice season right now. He has, 678 yards, and then Deshaun Fenwick, who's their second running back, has 318 yards. While if you look at Utah, their run game is not established at all. 331 yards for their main guy, and their second guy's got 265, averaging 5.8 a game, while BJ Baylor's averaging 6.8 and 6.4. I think that this rush game is going to really come into play here. I think that Oregon State's just going to pound it against them. And I think they're going to be able to edge this out. I kind of was going to take the money line on it because I kind of liked it, but I already had the spread, so might as well take the points, right? Be safe about it. But I also just thought it was an interesting game because it looked like a game that I feel like when they made their schedules at the beginning of this season, they thought they might be ranked. At least have a ranked team. What do you think about that?
Don't
Maybe
know if they
Utah.
thought Oregon State would be ranked, but maybe Utah.
I thought maybe Utah would be ranked.
I was considering taking something on this game, but I thought it was too even, and because I kind of like Oregon State. I mean, I got that Oregon State T-shirt that says "Every damn day" in reference to the Beaver mascot.
It's
I'm
hard to
pretty
root
sure
against a team with a mascot like Beavers, right?
exactly.
And I don't know what a Ute is. I'm assuming it's like someone who lives in Utah.
Um,
Let's do a quick little fact check here. Let's see. What is a Ute?
like a native Utahn,
Well, it's
correct?
a short for a utility vehicle.
You should have searched what is a Utah Ute.
Oh, you know what? University of Utah athletics team are known as the Utes in honor of the American Indian tribe for which the state of Utah is named. The Utes. All right,
Yes.
heard. I guess it
Um.
makes sense because their logo is a U with little feathers dangling off of it.
Yes.
We'll see how long that lasts.
But yeah, I don't hate your pick. I kind of liked both teams on this because Oregon State won what 4 in a row before losing to Washington State, but I do think that Utah's on they're on a 3-game win streak, so I think they might take that momentum. But it being in Oregon could favor the Beavers, so I didn't want to take anything on this game because I was kind of leaning towards Utah, but I didn't want to bet on a game that's going to be one on the Pac-12 network and two against Oregon State when I wasn't that confident in it. So I like the pick. I don't hate it.
Real life question here as well. Who has Pac-12 network on their TV?
No one on
You know,
the East Coast.
I can
I
tell you
can
that.
assure you that.
Which I feel like the majority of people who are really into college football probably live on the East Coast because SEC, ACC. I mean, obviously like Big 10, Big 12, or like Midwest kind of. But like, I know my TV has SEC network and ACC on there, and I might have Big 12 or Big 10. I can't remember which one I have.
I think I have Big Ten.
Yeah, but I don't have any Pac-12. Also, I'm never up for Pac-12 games. Like when you start a game at 10:30 at night and it goes till 1:32 in the morning. I mean, who's watching that, right?
I mean, those are my favorite games when I go to bed and I'm like, oh, there's still a quarter left in this BYU game. Let's watch it.
Mine's usually I've been sweating college football picks all day, and the last thing I want to do is have to sweat one more right before I go to sleep.
Fair.
That's how I'm thinking about it. But so that's kind of how I'm feeling. All right, let's dive right into the next one, Tony. I want to hear your money line.
So the money line I got, I was a little surprised by it. It is kind of an even game, but again, a ranked team against an unranked team, and the ranked team's an underdog. I like San Diego State at Air Force plus 150. They're ranked number 22 in the nation. I think both teams are almost identical in points per game and points allowed per game. And so I just think they're like right next to each other. It's 33 and 31 for points per game, and then 16 and 16.3 for points against.
And what was your play on it again?
San Diego State plus 150.
Gotta love it. SDSU, big team. Wow.
And so San Diego State has a better rushing defense, while Air Force has obviously a better. Actually, I'm pretty sure San Diego State, if you look up rushing defense, they are the number one team in the country for rushing defense. But if you look up rushing offense, Air Force is the number one rushing offense for obvious reasons, since
Obviously.
they're that whole military little pitch scheme they have going on, the real football. But I don't know. I like San Diego State as an underdog. I think it's a pretty even game. Not like their teams that play a similar style, but I think it's fairly even. San Diego State 6-0, Air Force 6-1, 7 p.m. I kind of looking forward to this game, even though look at the quarterbacks. San Diego State's 521 for 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, and then Air Force 553 yards for 2 touchdowns and a pick. I mean, it's almost like they're asking for this to be an even game, which is why Air Force, makes sense. Like in the end, why Air Force is a 3-point favorite since they always give 3 points to the home teams. So I'm taking Sandy. I haven't won a money line yet. I'm hoping the Aztecs bring it home for me and they stay undefeated.
Okay, and in the words of the anchorman, San Diego. I like him. I like him all the way. I have literally nothing to comment about this. The only thing I would say is maybe if it was Army or Navy, I would count the home field advantage for Air Force, but um, I really don't think that Air Force in Colorado has a ton of people coming out to them all the time. And of the three service academies, they're the worst. So I like this. I'm all for the Aztecs. Years ago, I even thought about applying there. So
Respect.
otherwise, other than my own personal biases, the only thing I would touch in this game is the over at 39 points because that's ridiculously low.
That
I think
is
that's the
extremely
lowest. That's the
low.
lowest over of the entire weekend. I'm scrolling through all of them right now. Let me just verify. Let me fact check myself. The second lowest over is New Mexico and Wyoming at 41 points. And the third lowest over is a tie between Rice UAB and yours truly, South Carolina at Texas A&M. Wow. Oh,
That's insane.
yeah, yeah, that's it. That's a really, really bad over. What a game to watch. Um, I like it. I like any real team against the Service Academy. Um, especially with that triple option crap. I'm so tired of the triple option. I hate that stupid scheme. Um, I don't enjoy watching teams that watch that. Shout out to Georgia Tech. I hate you guys. All right. Move with my last money line. I have Wisconsin at Purdue. I got Purdue plus 135. I don't know how this is a line. I don't know what about Wisconsin the odds makers even like. Um, they're 3-3 in the Big Ten. Purdue is 4-2 in the Big Ten. Obviously, I mean they're in the same division. Um, I really don't understand this. Purdue also has 2,000 passing yards, and Wisconsin has not been able to scrape together 1,000 passing yards this season. So, I mean, obviously now Wisconsin is a ground and pound team, right? And at the beginning of the season, I was a big Wisconsin guy. I really thought that Wisconsin would be able to run the ball, especially in those early games. I was a big fan of them, and they have 1,200 rushing yards. And I mean, Purdue has an abysmal 533 yards. But I think that the air attack is going to get to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's biggest flaw to me when I was watching those games pretty closely was they had a poor secondary. They let up a lot of big plays. I think that these Purdue wide receivers are going to be able to sneak behind these Wisconsin defensive backs and get these big plays off. I mean, these guys, they don't have any slouches of receivers. I mean, David Bell on Purdue has 679 yards already, 38 receptions for 17.9 yard average. 18 yards a catch is insane. I mean, that is insane. They have two guys who are over 10 yards per reception. Milton Wright at 11.6, and then if you really want to dive into it, their tight end Payne Durham averages 9.7, which if you round up is basically 10. Um, I mean, they're just. I think that passing game is going to get to Wisconsin. To be honest, I don't know a ton about Purdue's defensive against the run game. I know that they were. I know I watched that Notre Dame Purdue game pretty closely earlier in this season, and I thought they were fairly stout. They would let up passing touchdowns to. Do you know who Notre Dame's tight end is? I can't remember his name. He's pretty good though.
I do not.
Drawing a blank on, but it doesn't matter. Notre Dame's tight end. They let up a couple touchdowns in the pass game, but I don't think that Wisconsin's about to come out here and start slinging the ball all of a sudden. Wisconsin's like a ground and pound game. I think that Purdue can play this with them, and I think that when it comes to the air attack, I think that Purdue's going to edge them out. So that's how I'm feeling about Purdue. I don't have a ton on it, but that's just how I'm feeling. I got Purdue at plus 135. I like that all day.
I don't hate it. I also considered this game. And Purdue's coming off a big win against Iowa at Iowa. So I really don't hate this. I don't hate this play. I like it.
Yeah, Purdue, the upsetter. I think Purdue's got some momentum right here, and I don't see them falling down to some school like Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not good this season. I'm not. I'm fading Wisconsin all the way. So,
Sorry,
all
Big
right,
Cat.
yeah, whatever. I got it. That wraps up my college football. What about you? Anything
That's all
else?
my college football picks too.
All right. Awesome. And you got some NFL and I got some NBA. So we are going to be right back and let you know about some of these picks that we have just sprinkled in here throughout the rest of the week. So yeah, locked up and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. We have a little bit of NFL and NBA action for our professional sports fans. If you don't like college, so what are you doing? I'm going to kick it off. I just have some 2 NBA plays for tomorrow night. I decided to switch up my tactics here. I've been taking a lot of parlays. Now I'm just going to take straights. So, we're going to hope, right? I got the Celtics minus 6.5 at home versus the Raptors. I like this game. I like Jason Tatum. I believe in that guy. Jason Tatum hits big shots. If you watch any NBA basketball, that guy's clutch. He's just a man, and I like Jaylen Brown too. Jaylen Brown's an absolute asset. Jaylen Brown had some of the most points ever scored in an opening night game before. He had 46, I believe it was 46, maybe he had a little bit more, 46 points last night, which puts him up with the likeness of guys like Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan and Elgin Baylor. Absolutely phenomenal performance. I really like the Celtics for this. And I have Knicks minus 7 in Orlando. I feel like this is easy. This is just free money, I feel like. The Magic suck. The Magic stink. There's nothing about the Magic that's appealing. Even their stadium's gross. I'm all the way on the Knicks. I think that Julius Randle clearly in that first game last night against the Celtics. Julius Randle is here to stay. He's a star in this league. I like the Knicks right now. And Evan Fournier, especially after the Olympics, been playing absolutely phenomenally. Last night, he was the bane of my existence with the Celtics. So, give me the Knicks minus 7. I like that. I would take them at minus 9. And the Celtics, minus 6.5 is a little bit shaky, but I think the Celtics can win this game. So, those are my 2 NBA picks. We're not going to bore you guys with that. I don't have a professional analysis on those 2 games because we're only 2 games into an 82-game season. This is like betting on Game 4 of baseball. And we're going to go ahead and go into Tony's NFL picks.
So first, I actually did make a soccer pick. For those of you
Okay.
that do, I did. Won't go into it, but I took Everton. It's I haven't seen this before, but it's minus half and minus 1. So whatever bet I put, it's 2 bets basically. So if one hits and the other pushes, I'll still be winning money. And they're playing against Watford. I think they'll easily win by 2 or 3 goals on that one. And now into my NFL, I took a 17 parlay. I looked at I know it's a lot, and I've been getting bad luck with parlays, but I
Tell me what
looked
the
at
plus odds are on it, though.
The plus odds on it are. Let me pull it up on here again.
I want to hear it. And also, hey, I don't know anything about soccer, but I like the play because I like the actual like the mathematical play on that. Is as long as they win by a point, you're gonna make
Mm-hmm.
money on it. Like you're basically,
Exactly.
and if they win by two, you're making a bunch. So I like that a lot.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we're poor men, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Just scrape by. So I think that's a play right there.
Exactly. And so the odds on this are plus 518. So it's not horrible.
Honestly, no. I was really expecting with 7 teams. I was really expecting like plus like 900 or something.
Yeah. Oh, well, I just took money lines and every team I took is favored. So I took the Panthers at New York at the Giants, the Ravens against the Bengals, Patriots against the Jets, Rams against the Lions, Raiders against the Eagles, Bucks against the Bears, and Cardinals against the Texans. Basically, I bet against it was more for most of these games, it was more betting against teams such as the Texans and the Giants. The only one that I'm really betting for a team is the Ravens against the Bengals. So I'm extremely confident that these games will all hit. I do like the Bengals, however, I think the Ravens are on fire, and I don't see them beating the Ravens this week in Baltimore.
I like that. The only thing I have to add though is NFL. There's always some shakeup. If you take all the favorites, I try always take the favorites. And it's always the favorite that loses for me. But hey, I wish the best of luck to you on a 7 gamer. I'd love to see you win that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Our last segment is going to be interesting pick. I guess you could say we're going to go with Dad's interesting plays. That's what we'll call this right here, okay? So we're going to just rattle these off, and we're going to say if that's a winner or a loser, okay? You ready? I got Cincinnati at Navy over 51. Win or lose?
Win.
I think it's a win as well. I think Cincinnati's going to beat the crap out of Navy. I got
Agreed.
Coastal Carolina minus 3.5 App State. We know that's a loss. Whew.
Please don't bring that up.
I got the under 61. Massachusetts at Florida State. I like
I
it,
think
actually.
that's a win. Yeah, I like that.
I like it. I like it. I got okay, this is interesting as well. Another bet on this game: Massachusetts plus 35.5 at Florida State. I like it as well, actually.
Uh, I don't hate it.
Like, I
That's
mean, do
how
we
I'll
really
phrase
think
that.
that Florida State can manufacture 5 more touchdowns than another team?
It is UMass.
But it's Florida State.
I would bet
But they've been hot.
I bet minus 35 against UMass, but I'd get plus 35 for Florida against Florida State. So I don't hate it.
Makes sense to me. Illinois plus 24 at Penn State. I actually do like this one as well.
I kind of like that too, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it makes sense just because I don't know. I don't think that Penn State's going to separate by 24 points because that's not really what Penn State does.
No, that's not Big Ten football.
No, that's not Big Ten football. We got Purdue plus 3 at Wisconsin. I like that all the way. I took Purdue money line.
Yeah, I like it.
We get the over at 46 points for Syracuse, Virginia Tech.
That's not bad. Virginia Tech's been iffy, but I think Syracuse can
I don't hate it. I
manage
don't
some
hate it.
points.
No
No,
hate. No hate. All right, we got Virginia Tech minus 3.5.
I
What's the
I
what's
don't
the
hate it
hate?
either. I
I don't
respect the
like
double
that.
game bets.
I don't like
I
that.
think see, I kind of like how Syracuse has been playing. I do like Virginia Tech. I that was too close. I did look at that, but I didn't consider betting
I
on
do love
Syracuse
I
back to
love the
back
double up
weeks.
on games though. I think that's put all your eggs in a basket, huh? We got the under 67 Tennessee Bama. I hate that to death.
What's the under?
67. I don't. Uh, I don't like that. I don't. I don't like that at all. I think
I
Bama's going to score 40 points. I think that. I don't
overs
know.
have been screwing me, so I don't hate an under if I'm being no matter how
Hear you. Hear you.
communist it is.
We got Vanderbilt plus 23 playing at home against Mississippi State.
Mm,
I don't know about all
I
that.
I would never bet on Vanderbilt.
I don't like anything that Vanderbilt has to do with them. Win or lose?
lose.
I think so too. Liberty minus 21.5 against North Texas. That game already happened, didn't it?
No, I
No, it
don't think
hasn't. It
so.
happened. It's starting. Okay,
I
never mind.
think that's an epic victory royale.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. We got Washington minus 15.5 against Arizona. I mean, there's no problem with going against
Mhm.
Arizona.
I like that.
The only thing I don't like though is 15.5. That's a lot of points.
That is. If it was more like 10, I'd like it better.
Yeah, if it was like 11.5, I would take that. 15.5. I mean, obviously, if I liked it enough, I would have taken it this week. Um,
Exactly.
notice that none of these pretty much are our picks. We got Memphis +3 at UCF.
Nope, I do not like that.
I don't like any part of that.
I stayed away from that game.
Yeah,
Both
me
teams
too.
are very inconsistent right now.
Yeah, I think that game is completely up in the air. We got Cincinnati minus 27 against Navy. Love that.
Love it.
We got Wake Forest minus 3.5 against Army. I really, really thought about this game this week. I don't like it. If I liked it, I would have taken it, but I don't like it. I don't want any part of Wake Forest after what I watched against Syracuse. And Army's one of those teams. This triple option BS, that's one of those teams, man.
I don't like it, but I think he's gonna win.
Probably. All right, we got under 67.5 Oklahoma at Kansas. I like this too. I think that Oklahoma's going to lay the points on them, but I don't think Kansas is going to be able to score. I like this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a 55-0 game.
We got Northwestern plus 21.5 at Michigan.
Mm,
This is shaky.
I-
I was
mm,
thinking about taking Michigan in this game.
I'm not a fan of that.
Nor am I. All right, and then we got Boston College +7 at Louisville. I
Don't hate it.
I don't hate it. Yeah, I'm indifferent. I got Oregon +1.5 at UCLA. I love it because I got a better line on it.
Boo, go Bruins.
Quack, 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 quack. I got Oak State +7 at Iowa State. Love it. We both
We
love it.
obviously love it.
Locked up. We got Mississippi -10.5 at LSU. Bad line. Really bad line, actually. If he had waited this week, he would have gotten -9, but jumped the gun too early on Sunday evening. -10.5. I don't like that, actually. I really don't like that. I consider this LSU team as a volatile team right now, especially with Ogeron on the way out. It makes me nervous right now with that betting on that team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got Pittsburgh -3.5. I know you like it. I don't know. I don't like it. Let's see what else we got. And we got BYU -1. I don't like any part of BYU, so I'm about to say no to that.
No.
All right. That's our rundown. Those interesting picks. Pretty much just a special segment for him. But if anyone else wants to hear what someone's opinion is on a bunch of games that he took on a Sunday night with the help of a 14-year-old, there you go. All right. I think that's going to conclude it. Do you have anything else to add? Did you want to talk about Ogeron a little bit or no?
I think I'll pass.
Pass on. All right. I'm sure we can talk about it later in the season. We're really going over our time limit right now. We're already at an hour and 11 minutes. So, just going to recap. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're working on getting that Spotify up. I know we're so slow on it, but at least we're consistent on our YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it, guys. All of our devout and loyal 12 subscribers. Make sure to check us out at the Poor Man Podcast on Twitter. We're going to be tweeting out pretty much all of our picks. We take a lot of picks during the week that we don't really talk about on the podcast because there's just too many. So you're going to find all of our picks right there if you want super mediocre betting advice. Or you can just bet against us, which is probably a good play as well. What else you got, Tony?
Just thanks for listening. Ready for this week, whether it goes good or bad.
Yeah, and if you guys have any comments or tweets you can hit us with about what you're taking this weekend or any of your thoughts, we would love to hear it. This is a super interesting week of college football. Really, no great matchups. So I think this is an upset weekend if I have to say anything. I think this is a weekend that we're going to see something shaken up. Like, it would not surprise me if UCLA goes ahead and just wins this game on Oregon and knocks Oregon down. So, it's going to be a good weekend. Thank you guys so much. Over and out. And that was the Poor Man's Podcast, number 3.